Hi everyone, this is me Jovi and welcome to my YouTube channel. And yeah, we are already done with the summary discussion. It's all about the Spanish period or Spanish era in the Philippine history. So if you have time, feel free to check it on my YouTube channel. So the title will be summary discussions for Spanish era in the Philippine history. Let me check. Yes. So we have a lot of review materials on my channel. So feel free to check if you have enough time. So this title will be Spanish colonial period in Philippine history summary discussion. Okay. So feel free the summary key events and impact. Okay. So I just uploaded this materials 8 hours ago. So double check and feel free to support my YouTube channel. Please do like and subscribe for more videos like this, especially for social studies, because as of right now I'll be focusing or highlighting first the social studies major reviewer. And no worries, because it could be beneficial as well to all of you, because social studies can be found in general gen ed, okay, in general education reviewer. And no worries, all of my reviewers from ProfEd to general education to my major social studies. So I'll be putting all of that material here in my YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe to get updated for more reviewers. Okay, so and also, I already provided a part one of the Spanish era. So feel free to check. Okay, we have a lot of materials there. So paki-check para madugangan ang inyong learnings, madugangan ang inyong knowledge, madugangan ang inyong mga kaalam when it talks about sa social studies. And also, I already discussed the pre-colonial history of the Philippines and provided the questionnaire and provided the answers with generalizations. So, without further ado, let us start our part two questionnaire with answers and generalization of Spanish era in the Philippine history. So, by the way, again, as I did way back sa atong mga questionnaire, I will be providing 10 seconds for you to think, for you to exercise, to dive into the correct answer, okay? So, if gusto ka na maka-learn sa all about sa Spanish era, I provided the summary discussions, okay? So kung pwede po nimo balikan sa before ka magkuan dinhi doon sa nimo ang part 1 and then the summary discussion para mas magkaroon ka og daghang idea og mas maka-answer ka sa atong mga questionnaire, sa atong mga questions. Okay? So going back, we are now in the item 31. So this is the part 2 of Spanish era in the Philippine history, okay? So, question number 31. Hold on, i-set up sa nako ang atong timer ha. Okay, so I'll be providing you 10 seconds, okay? So question number 31. What was the name of the Spanish priest who chronicled early Filipino customs? What was the name of the Spanish priest who chronicled early Filipino customs? Letter A, Juan Luna. Letter B, Pedro Chirino. Letter C, Miguel de Legazpi. Letter D, Jose Rizal. Timer starts now. Okay. So So, what was the name of the Spanish priest who chronicled early Filipino customs? The correct answer will be letter B. Si Pedro Chirino. Okay, he was the one. He was the priest who chronicled early Filipino customs. Because Pedro Chirino he documented Filipino life and beliefs in the 1600s. Okay, and Luna, he was an artist and he's not the chronicle. So, chronicler, so that is not the correct answer. Wally Gaspe, on the other hand, this is a colonial leader and not a friar. And Rizal, he was the nationalist writer, not from the Spanish clergy. So the one who hold on. So the Spanish priest who chronicled early Filipino custom, which is Pedro Chirino. Okay, let us proceed to the number 32. What was the Spanish term for a native tribute collector? What was the Spanish term for native tribute collector? Timer starts now. Okay. The correct answer will be what was the Spanish term for a native tribute collector? The answer will be that is cabeza de barangay. Okay, the Spanish term for native tribute collector, that is cabeza de barangay. Cabeza de barangay, that is the one who collected tributes and maintained census. And Gobernador Cilia, on the other hand, this is a town head, okay, not focused on tribute. Alcalde Mayor, this is provincial governor, okay? So the Gobernadorcillo, they are the one who manage the town or the pueblos, and the Alcalde Mayor, that they're the one who manage the provinces, and the Friar, this is religious leader and not an administrator. Okay, when the Spanish arrived, the Philippine was divided into two. First is the town or the pueblos, and second, that is the provincia or provinces. And the town or the pueblos, it was governed by Gobernador Silio, and the province governed by Alcalde Mayor. Okay, so the Spanish term for native tribute collector, that is cabeza de barangay. Okay, let us proceed to question number 33. What was the name of the Spanish law that regulated colonial governance? What was the name of the Spanish law that regulated colonial governance? Letter A, Leyes de Indias. Letter B, Code of Calantiao. Letter C, Magna Carta. Letter D, Napoleonic Code. Timer starts now. By the way, guys, our part two composed of 60 questions. Okay? Okay. Timer's done. What was the name of the Spanish law that regulated colonial governance? The correct answer will be letter A, Leyes de Indias. That is the name of the Spanish law that regulated colonial governance. Leyes de Indias. Okay? It's because Leyes de Indias, this is a legal framework for Spanish colonies. The Kalantiao, this is later proven to be fictional. So that is not the correct answer. Magna Carta, this is English document and not the Spanish law or that regulated the colonial governance. And Napoleonic Code, this is a French law and this is not applicable in the Philippines. Okay? So let us proceed to the question number 34. What was the name of the Spanish priest who helped translate Christian text into native languages? What was the name of the Spanish priest who helped translate Christian text into native languages? Letter A, Thomas Pinpin. Letter B, Juan de Plasencia. Letter C, Diego Silang. Letter D, Raha Humabon. Timer starts now. Okay. So, what was the name of the Spanish priest who helped translate Christian text into native language? The correct answer will be Juan de Plasencia. Okay, he was the Spanish priest who helped translate Christian text into native languages. Juan de Plasencia. So Juan de Plasencia, he was the one who bridged faith and language for evangelization. Okay? Plasencia again, he was the one who bridged faith and language for evangelization. So he was the one who translated Christian text into native languages. Pinpin, on the other hand, this is a first Filipino printer. Okay? Silang, Diego Silang, this is a revolutionary and not religious. Si Raha Humabon, this is local ruler, not friar. So the correct answer will be letter B, Juan de Plasencia. Number 35. What was the Spanish term for resettled village? What was the Spanish term for resettled village? Letter A, pueblo. Letter C, redacción. Letter B, redacción. Letter C, encomienda. Letter D, hacienda. Timer starts now. Okay. So what was the Spanish term for resettled village? The correct answer will be letter. That is redacción. Okay. So the Spanish term for resettled village, that is redacción. Redacción. So, because the reduction, this is a centralized native population for control and conversion. So, this is the time all of the Filipino people will be forced to live near to the church, okay, in the town, in the church for the Spanish to control the Filipino people. Okay, so the term for the resettlement, forced resettlement, that is reducción. The pueblo, this is the town unit, not necessarily resettled. Okay, so Philippine was divided into two during the Spanish era, which is town, that is pueblo, and the provincias, that is the provinces. Okay. Encomienda, this is a tribute system. So this is not the correct answer. Hacienda, this is agricultural state, and that is not the correct answer as well. Okay. So again, the town, that is pueblos, and the provincias, that is provinces. Okay. So next, question number 36. What was the name of the Spanish priest who opposed abuses in the encomienda system? Again, what was the name of the Spanish priest who opposed abuses in the encomienda system? Letter A, Fray Butod. Letter B, Juan Luna. Letter C, Bartolome de las Casas. Letter D, Jose Burgos. Timer starts now. By the way, guys, please do like and subscribe for more reviewers like this. Tahimik kayo, no? Okay, what was the name of the Spanish priest who opposed abuses in the encomienda system? The correct answer will be letter C, Bartolome de las Casas. Okay? It's because Bartolome, he was the one who opposed the abuses in the encomienda system. Okay? Bartolome de las Casas, okay? It's because Bartolome de las Casas, he was the one who advocated for native rights in the Americas and influenced reform. And see, Frei, hold on. See, Frei Botod, this is, hold on. Okay. He was a satirical figure, okay? So dili siya mao ang correct answer. And Juan Luna, this is not clergy. He was an artist. And Borgas naman, he was a Filipino priest, later martyred, okay? He was the one part of the Gumborza nga katong mga gipang kuan na mga pari, gipang patay. Okay. So, let us proceed to question number 37. What was the name of the Spanish colonial document that recorded births and baptisms? What was the name of the Spanish colonial document that recorded birth and baptism? Letter A, Sidula. Letter B, Doctrina Christiana. Letter C, Libro de Bautismos. Letter D, Encomienda. Timer starts now. By the way, guys, we have 117 followers on our YouTube page. So please follow my YouTube page, Digital Let Reviewer. Oh, it's already 117. Okay? Guys, paki-follow ko sa akong YouTube page, which is Digital Let Reviewer, for daily challenge question. And also, I'll be providing some materials as well. So, and also subscribe in my YouTube channel, Digital Let Reviewer, for more reviewer materials like this. Okay, going back, what was the name of the Spanish colonial document that recorded birth and baptism? That is called letter C. That is Libro de Bautismos. So recorded birth and baptism, Libro de Bautismos. Okay? Libro de Bautismos, this is church church record of sacraments. Okay? And Sidula, this is identity certificate. Doctrina, this is religious text. Encomienda, this is tribute system. Okay, so the correct answer will be Libro de Bautismos. Okay, let us proceed to question number 38. What was the name of the Spanish priest who wrote about Filipino music and dances? What was the name of the Spanish priest who wrote about Filipino music and dances? Letter A, Pedro Chireno. Letter B, Juan Luna. Letter C, Miguel de Legazpi. Letter D, Jose Rizal. Timer starts now. Okay. So, what was the name of the Spanish priest who wrote about Filipino music and dances? The correct answer will be letter B, si Pedro Chirino. Okay? He was the Spanish priest who wrote about Filipino music and dances. Pedro Chirino, he was chronicled cultural practices, and that includes music. Again, Luna is a painter, not a historian. Legazpi, this is an explorer, not writer. Rizal naman, he wrote about colonial injustices. Okay? So, the correct answer will be Pedro Chirino, because he was the chronicled cultural practices, which including the music. Okay, let us proceed to question number 39. What was the name of the Spanish priest who established the first printing press in the Philippines? Wala, natakol na ni ganina ha. So what was the name of the Spanish priest who established the first printing press in the Philippines? Letter A, Thomas Pinpin. Letter B, Juan de Plasencia. Letter C, Fray Francisco de San Jose. San Jose. Letter D, Miguel de Legazpi. Timer starts now. Okay. What was the name of the Spanish priest who established the first printing press in the Philippines? That is letter C. Fray Francisco de San Jose. Fray Francisco de San Jose. Okay, Francisco de San Jose, he was the one who brought printing in the to the islands. Okay, he was the one who brought the printing to the islands. Si Pinpin naman, excuse me, he was the first Filipino printer and not a founder. First Filipino printer, not the founder. And here we are talking about the first established the first printing press in the Philippines. So si Juan de Fray Francisco de San Jose, siya ang nagdala. Okay? Siya ang nagdala sa printer diri sa island. However, the founder is Pinpin. Si Pinpin, okay? He first Filipino printer. Okay? Pero ang nagdala sa printing diri sa Philippines si San Jose. Legazpi, again, this is a colonial leader. Okay? Wala siya ilabot sa printing press. Okay, let us proceed to question number 40. What was the name of the first book printed in the Philippines? Again, what was the name of the first book printed in the Philippines? Letter A, Noli Me Tangere. Letter B, Doctrina Christiana. Letter C, Florante at Laura. Letter D, El Filibusterismo. Timer starts now. All right. So what was the name of the first book printed in the Philippines? That is letter B, Doctrina Christiana. Okay, that was the first book printed in the Philippines. Okay. A Doctrina Christiana, this is a catechism which is printed in 1593. Doctrina Christiana, this is catechism printed in 1593. And this is the first book printed in the Philippines, the Doctrina Christiana. And Noli Me Tangere, this is Rizal's novels during 19th century. Florante, this is fictional poem. And this is during Spanish era. However, this is not the first book printed in the Philippines. Okay? El Filibusterismo, this is a Rizal sequel to Noli Me Tangere's book. Okay? So, El Filibusterismo, this is a sequel. Sequel na siya sa Noli Me Tangere. Sumpay. Okay? Next, we have number 41. What was the name of the Spanish priest who printed the first book in the Philippines? Okay? What was the name of the Spanish priest who printed the first book in the Philippines? Letter A, Thomas Pinpin. Letter B, Fray Francisco de San Jose. Letter C, Juan de Plasencia. Letter D, Pedro Chirino. Timer starts now. By the way, guys, we are already 50 subscribers. So there are already 50 subscribers in my YouTube channel. So kung wala pa ka nakasubscribe, please do like and subscribe for more materials like this. Because my only goal here is to help you guys gain some knowledge, pass the licensure exam, or even top the board exam. Okay? So going back, number 41, what was the name of the Spanish priest who printed the first book in the Philippines? The correct answer will be C, that is letter B. Again, Fray Francisco de San Jose. He was the one who brought the printing uh, here in the Philippines. And he was also the one who printed the first book in the Philippines, which is Doctrina Christiana. Okay, again, si San Jose, he was the one who oversaw the printing of Doctrina Christiana during 1593. So Pinpin, first Filipino printer, but not the founder of the press. Okay? Plasencia, this is religious writer, not printer. Chirino, Pedro Chirino, this is historian and not involved in printing. Okay, the correct answer will be Fray Francisco de San Jose. Okay. So next we have question number 42. What was the main language used in early Spanish religious text in the Philippines? What was the main language used in early Spanish religious text in the Philippines? Letter A, Latin. Letter B, Spanish. Letter C, Tagalog. Letter D, Bisaya. Timer starts now. Please guys, pag-subscribe sa akong YouTube channel para mas ma-motivate pa ko, para mas maganahan pag okay. Pag naman ko isa madungag sa subscriber, ma-motivate ko, maganahan ko kay daghan og mga tao or naay mga tao na ako matabangan, okay? So no layo pa gyud kaayo ang kamatuoran guys na ma-monetize ko, okay? Pero tungod sa inyong tabang guys, padulong ko din ha. Thank you so much sa mga nag-subscribe. Ug sa wala pa naka-subscribe, please guys, pa-support naman para mas ma-motivate pa ko magbuhat og mga reviewers kay dili siya basta-basta pero kay this is one of my passions. So buhaton ako para sa inyo ha. Paki-support ko please. Okay, so going back, number 42, what was the main language used in early Spanish religious texts in the Philippines? The correct answer, main language, that is the Tagalog. Okay, mo na siya ang ginagamit na language used in early Spanish religious texts in the Philippines. Okay, so Tagalog, these early texts like Doctrina Christiana were printed in the Tagalog using baybayin. Okay? So baybayin, that was the early writing system during pre-colonial period. However, when the Spanish arrived in the Philippines, it was changed into Roman alphabet. So baybayin, that is the first Filipino writing system in the Philippines. However, pag abot sa mga Spanish, it was changed into Roman alphabet. Okay? So, ang ginagamit para ma-translate ang Doctrina Christiana, that is the language Tagalog. Latin naman, this is used in Europe and this is not accessible to natives. Okay? And the Spanish, this is used later but not in initial evangelization. Kaya paano sila makapag-evangelize sa mga Filipinos if they cannot able to understand Spanish, okay? So gihimo nila into Tagalog, gi-transcribe nila into Tagalog para mas maintindihan or para mas masabtan sa mga Filipinos para ma-evangelize ang mga Filipinos into Roman Catholicism because Doctrina Christiana mo na siya murag ang Biblia or ang Bible sa Roman Catholicism. Okay, Bisaya naman, this is important regionally but not the first printed language. Okay, the first printed language using the baybayin is the Tagalog. Next, we have number 43. What was the name of the Spanish friar who compiled native laws and customs? What was the name of the Spanish friar who compiled native laws and customs? Letter A, Juan de Plasencia. Letter B, Miguel de Legazpi. Letter C, Pedro Chirino. Letter D, Jose Rizal. Timer starts now. Okay. So, going back, what was the name of the Spanish friar who compiled native laws and customs? The correct answer will be letter A, Juan de Plasencia. He was the Spanish friar who compiled native language and customs. Okay, Juan de Plasencia. Juan de Plasencia, he was the one author the Relacion de las Costumbres, which is documenting Filipino tradition. Again, Plasencia, the author of Relacion de las Costumbres, which is the documenting Filipino traditions. And again, Legazpi is a colonial leader and he's not a friar. Pedro Chirino, he's chronicled history, not laws. Rizal, he criticed colonial rule, not a compiler of customs. So, the Spanish friar who compiled native laws and custom is Juan de Plasencia. Okay, let us proceed to question number 44. What was the Spanish term for a religious school? Again, what was the Spanish term for a religious school? Letter A, colegio. Letter B, universidad. Letter C, escuela. Letter D, seminario. Timer starts now. Okay. What was the Spanish term for a religious school? That is religious school. That is letter A, colegio, college. Okay? Colegio ang Spanish term ana niya. Colegio, this is basic religious educations for natives. Ang universidad or university, this is a higher education but came later na, nauna ang kolehiyo. Escuela, this is general term for school, okay? Escuela, that is general term for school. Seminario, this is focused on priestly formation. So, wala siya kuan for basic religious education for natives, okay? That is colegio. So, let us proceed to question number 45. What was the name of the Spanish priest who founded the University of Santo Tomas? What was the name of the Spanish priest who founded the University of Santo Tomas? Letter A, Miguel de Benavides. Letter B, Juan Luna. Letter C, Pedro Chirino. Letter C, D, Jose Burgos. Timer starts now. Okay. What was the name of the Spanish priest who founded the University of Santo Tomas? That is letter. Kisa may bag-o dira sa inyong mga mata. That is letter A. Miguel de Benavides. Okay? Ang Spanish priest who founded the University of Santo Tomas, si Miguel de Benavides. Again, Miguel de Benavides. Okay? Benavides, this is the third Archbishop of Manila, UST, founder in 1611. Okay, University of Santo Tomas, UST. So again, the founder of University of Santo Tomas, si Miguel de Benavides. And again, Luna, he's an artist and not an educator. Chirino, he was an historian. He was an historian and not a founder of Santo Tomas, okay? Burgos naman, he was the Filipino priest and not involved in UST's founding. Okay, so the founder of the Spanish founder of the University of Santo Tomas, Miguel de Benavides. And let us proceed to question number 46. What was the name of the Spanish priest who defended Filipinos against abusive encomenderos? Encomenderos. Again, what was the name of the Spanish priest who defended Filipinos against abusive encomenderos? Letter A, Domingo de Salazar. Letter B, Juan de Plasencia. Letter C, Pedro Chirino. Letter D, Miguel de Legazpi. Timer starts now. Okay. What was the name of the Spanish priest who defended Filipinos against abusive encomenderos? That is letter A. He is Domingo de Salazar because Domingo Salazar don't want to um like he was the one who defended the Filipinos against abusive encomenderos. Okay? So dili siya gusto og na mga pang-aabuso sa mga Filipino. Salazar again, Domingo Salazar, he was the first bishop of Manila, and he was vocal against colonial abuses. Okay? He was the one who defended Filipino from Spanish or encomiendas abuses. Plasencia, he was the one who focused on education and customs. Quirino, he was a chronicle and not an activist. Legazpi, colonial administrator, and that is not the correct answer. So the Spanish priest who defended abusive friars in the encomendero is si Salazar. Next, we have number 47. What was the name of the Spanish friar who introduced printing in the Philippines? Again, what was the name of the Spanish friar who introduced printing in the Philippines? Letter A, Thomas Pinpin. Letter B, Fray Francisco San Jose. Letter C, Juan de Plasencia. Letter D, Pedro Chirino. Timer starts now. Okay. What was the name of the Spanish friar who introduced printing in the Philippines? That is letter B. Fray Francisco de San Jose. Okay? He was the one who brought the printing in the Philippines. And again, so, si San Jose, he was the one who brought the printing press in the Philippines and was able to train Pinpin, okay? So gitrainin niya si Pinpin, and Pinpin becomes the first Filipino printer and not introducer, okay? So ang nagdala sa printing diri sa Pilipinas si San Jose, which is giprint ang first book of the Philippines, which is the Doctrina Christiana, okay? And San Jose was able to train Pinpin, the first Filipino printer in the Philippines, okay? Plasencia, he was a writer and not a printer. And Chirino naman, he was an historian. Dili siya printer. Let us proceed to question number 48. What was the Spanish term for native town leader under colonial rule? Okay, gi-istorya na ako na ganina. What was the Spanish term for a native town leader under colonial rule? Town or pueblos? Letter A, Gobernador Cilios. Letter B, Cabeza de Barangay. Letter C, Alcalde Mayor. Letter D, Dato. Timer starts now. Hala. So tomorrow I'll be uploading the part 3 of the Spanish era in the Philippine history. Okay, what was the Spanish term for a native town leader under colonial rule? That is letter A, Gobernador Cilios. Okay? The Spanish term for a native town leader under colonial rule, that is Gobernador Cilios. Okay, Gobernador Cilios. This is the Filipino or a native in town and town leader. They are the one who manage the town affairs. And Cabeza de Barangay, this is collected tribute in the lower rank. Okay. Ang alcalde mayor, this is provincial governor. Okay? So, again, the Philippines before, during the Spanish era, was divided into two. Okay? The town or the pueblos and the provincias, which is the provinces. So, ang town ang nagamanage, ang tawag sa mga native Filipinos nga nagamanage sa town, that is Gobernador Cilios. And alcalde mayor, sila ang nag-manage sa provinces. Okay? So, Dato naman, this is a pre-colonial leader. replaced by colonial titles. Okay? So ang dato, they are the one who manage or lead the Filipino that is way back in colonial period. However, during the Spanish era, it was replaced by Gobernador Silius and the Alcalde Mayor. Next, number 49. What was the name of the Spanish friar who wrote about Filipino music and dances? Okay, bonus questions. What was the name of the Spanish friar who wrote about Filipino music and dances? Timer starts now. Okay. What was the name of the Spanish friar who wrote about Filipino music and dances? That is letter A, Pedro Chirino. Okay, Pedro Chirino, he was the one documented cultural practices including music. Si Juan Luna, he was a painter and not a historian. Legazpi, he was an explorer and not a historian. Si Rizal naman focused on colonial critique. Okay, si Pedro Charino, he was the one who documented cultural practices including music. Okay, next we have number 50. What was the name of the Spanish priest who advocated for native education? So, kinsa daw kinsa ang pangalan sa Spanish priest nga nag-advocate for native education nga i-educate ang mga Filipino. Letter A, Juan de Plasencia. Letter B, Pedro Chirino. Letter C, Miguel de Legazpi. Letter D, Jose Rizal. Timer starts now. Okay. So, what was the name of the Spanish priest who advocated for native education? That is letter A, si Juan de Plasencia. Siya gyud ang nangusog nga dapat ang mga Filipino is i-educate. Okay? Juan de Plasencia. Si Juan de Plasencia, he was the one who established schools and wrote the catechism. Okay? He was the one who established the schools and wrote catechisms. Okay? Chirino, again, he's an historian, not an um, advocate advocator for native education. And also Legazpi, he's a colonial leader, not educator. Rizal, he advocated education but not during Spanish friar era.